All right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a review of Black Adam. So, let's start off my rating. I think I rate this movie 7 out of 10. I think there's definitely parts. Sorry about the focus. It's getting going now. I think there's definitely parts where it could have been better, and there's definitely parts where it could have been worse. Honestly, this movie is a very interesting watch first time around. I've not seen it twice yet, and I think that's where you really get the meat of movies when you watch them twice. So I think this movie's gonna have to be something you watch like twice or something, and you have to watch the Shazam movie to understand this movie at all for some. So that is also something I recommend. Before you see this movie, you probably should see Shazam. But I rate it 7 out of 10. I think in terms of the movie overall. Before we get into spoilers, I think the characters were pretty good. I mean, the Rock has a character, and the Rock, being the main character, he does pretty well as an anti-hero or whatever he is in this movie. And yeah, the other characters, Hawkman is in this movie. I think he was in the trailer. Yeah, Hawkman was in the trailers. He does very good in this movie. He's a very good character. They changed around his character from what it is in the comics a bit. I want to make clear this video is not about the comics or the adaptation or anything like that. I don't really care about that. I care about did you create in these reviews. I care about did you create a satisfying story? Did you create a good story? And did the characters make sense in their abilities? Right. So that's what I care about. Okay. So let's get into spoilers. So you guys can leave if you don't want to hear spoilers of this movie. 7 out of 10. Very, very, very mid. I think it needed a bit more. I'll get into that in spoilers here. All right. So spoilers. This movie very good when it comes to one thing, and that is backstory. They kind of hide the twist a bit. They hide the twist pretty good in the movie. The twist is, that the original Black Adam champion, like the original champion, is not The Rock, the main character. It's The Rock's son in the movie, and The Rock's son gave up his powers to save him. And then The Rock ends up being, taking raid. Sorry, not yeah, being enraged and killing and like destroying, and so the wizards fight the Rock and his powers, and we get to see the backstory of all 5 wizards getting killed before the wizard in Shazam finishes him and entombs him, and that's an interesting thing um, in the movie is that I keep looking up is that they're really leaning hard to the fact that the wizard entombed him, and the whole thing is that he's the hero of this nation. There's in this movie, there's a nation that's like I think it's supposed to be in the Middle East, but I can't tell exactly. I think they want it to be in the Middle East, but they also want it to be like in that small region. I think they want it to be in the Middle East, and it's supposed to be like a society that keeps being taken over, and that is currently run by like gangsters and stuff. And it's a very interesting take on a like dystopian society in the current day world, because it probably could happen in the current day world. Now, the technology in this movie, of course, as is with every DC movie, is very, how we say, futuristic. There are flying bikes. They go light speed. No joke, that happens. There is a new kind of they made new kryptonite. I'm not joking. They made new kryptonite. It's like it's a different mineral that comes only from this nation. It's like Wakanda and all that. But they're not as high tech as Wakanda. It's very interesting how their world designed this, and I enjoyed it a lot. The world design. Because the movie really sticks to this one nation, this one place. It doesn't go all around the world like some superhero movies do and like Justice League does. It sticks to this one place. That's what I like about Shazam as well. It sticks to Philadelphia. It doesn't go like, hey, now we're in Hong Kong. Yeah, that's the reason we're Hong Kong. Um, and that's what I really liked about this movie. So they stuck to this, and they didn't just stick to like a city in the United States. They stuck to a city they created fictionally, I believe. I don't quote me on that. I'm not exactly sure if this like city or nation exists, or where it was shot. But they stuck to this one city for the most part of the movie. They do go to Ireland for like one shot, and that's it. But that's pretty much all they do in the entire movie. Now let's talk about the characters again. So The Rock, pretty good. He does okay in his he does okay in his portrayal of Black Adam. I think he could have used a bit more. I don't know how to say it. I think The Rock could have put a bit more like oomph into this one. I feel like he really leans into the unbeatable, undestroyable, like indestructible being that he is. That he at some points comes off as very, I don't know, just not a fun character. Like the side characters in this movie that we'll get to in a little bit because they're very fun. They honestly made this movie. Um, he doesn't bounce his lines and his chemistry doesn't bounce off them as well as like their own does. So it's just off, and I think that's how it's supposed to feel because he's working with in the movie he's working with the like a branch of the Suicide Squad, and it's supposed to feel like he doesn't know how this works and he doesn't and he's trying to he's a one man show kind of a thing. Um, and it works like that. But he also, I think you need a bit more chemistry with him and the cast by the end of the movie because that would have really made it a bit more than what it was. So let's get into the characters in this movie. So we have Hawkman. Let's digest Hawkman. Hawkman is I guess interesting in this movie mainly because of the changes they make to the character. It's not as yeah. His powers aren't manifestable through himself, and they're not magical like they are sometimes in the comics. In this generation, in this iteration of the character, he is mechanical. It's a mechanical thing. He has either built all this or the Suicide Squad has built this all for him. Either way, it is all mechanical. So that is also another thing that I found very interesting. So I've never seen that portrayal. However, I assume it exists. Like everything exists in the comics, so I assume it exists at some point in the comics. But I've never seen that portrayal. I thought it was very interesting. Yeah, go with that. Go with that. To portray them, to portray Hawkman. He has a very good arc in the movie where he's trying to outlive his death, and so he but he knows he's gonna die in the end of the movie for some reason, and he has a very interesting arc where he just kind of accepts it, which is interesting. Which brings us to the reason he knows he's gonna die, and that's because they put why did I just die? Why did my head just die? Oh god, okay. One second. One second, I have to look up the character's name. Dr. Fate. They put Dr. Fate in this movie. Now Dr. Fate is a character I'm aware of barely, so I can't speak to anything about his comics. So I've said I can't speak to him in the comics or him anywhere else in this in this like place. I can't speak to anything that he's done or anything. But what I can speak to is that he was a pretty good character in this movie. And he like I said, he does pretty well in this movie. I feel like he really puts his heart into it. He does very well playing a character that knows everything and that can see the future. And like doesn't want to tell people about it. He also does very well being haunted by the helmet and how it possesses him. He portrays that very well. And he of course spoilers. He of course dies in this movie. Because he sacrifices himself for Hawkman, for Hawkman, yeah, for Hawkman to save his life and all that. And yeah, it's just an interesting moment where you see his powers in the end of the movie, and you're like, how did this guy die? Because they never establish what his powers can do fully, so they just kind of run with it, and it does not work at all. they kind of run with it, and sorry, he barely like explains his powers, and they barely explain it. Think that's the point of the movie, of this character, to not explain him at all. But I could use a bit more explanation on his powers and what he can do, because with what they're doing in the movie, it's kind of like Doctor Strange but more insane, with his character. So yeah, it's interesting. They put, I don't know the character's name, someone that can control the wind. It was a very interesting design on that character. I thought it was just very nice to see that character, and I really enjoyed the. So there in this movie, there's the two veterans, which are in the Suicide Squad team to take down Black Adam. There are the two veterans. There's Hawkman and Doctor Fate, and then there's also two newbies they bring in for this like squad. It's not like a Suicide Squad, because it's not like people that have been how I say it, people that have been arrested like the Suicide Squad movies. Instead, it's just Waller putting on a task force or something. So yeah, but there's two newbies, and that would be the Wind Girl, which I forget her name. I think it's like Tornado or something, or I forget. But she's very good. I really like the design on her character and how they portrayed the power of being able to control the wind. They really did that well, in my opinion. They also do a lot. They also do a lot of different things in terms of with her character and with the other character in the team, which is Adam Smasher. I did not expect to see Adam Smasher in this movie, honestly. When I signed up for it, mainly because I didn't know they were going to do Adam Smasher. So Adam Smasher, of course, can grow to massive size. So that's what they do in this movie. He grows to massive size. Um, and because of this, they really try to explain Adam Smasher, but don't explain Adam Smasher at all, because they kind of give him the powers of the Ant-Man movies without explaining it, which is what they're supposed to do in these Suicide Squad movies for some reason. But it's very interesting how they use his powers and explain his powers. Okay, so that's the four main characters in this movie. Let's talk about the villain. So the villain is an ancient enemy that is trying to awaken this spirit, which is trying to awaken the opposite of the wizards of Shazam. And this is what happens. And it's a very interesting thing where it's hell versus wizards, and like the movie is really good at it at some points and really bad at it, because the main villain of the movie, only shows up for the last 10 minutes. Okay? So if you're looking for this Master Joker, like, sound plan, it kind of happens. The whole thing is the villain of the movie gets Black Adam to kill him so he can become the villain of the movie. Death is life is the quote in the movie. And it's really interesting how it succeeds and all that. But the one thing I want to talk about is the end of this movie, where I am not joking, the end credit scene of this movie, they get sorry, I am terrible with this sometimes. They get Henry Cavill as Superman to appear in the end, as Director Waller's person, like envoy, right? So the only question I have about this is the the Peacemaker show sets up that the United States, that the Task Force X is gone, like, well, it's been blown. The cover's been blown on Task Force X. So I assume that's why Waller's using soldiers now and good guys, because Task Force X is pretty much gone. That makes sense. Now, the problem is Waller then brings in Superman to fight Black Adam and try to kill him. In the end, at least. And Superman doesn't fight him. He just kind of says you made some powerful people very nervous. But she brings in Superman, played, of course, by Henry Cavill, which means probably that he's getting his own movie, which is amazing. I cannot wait to see another Superman movie with Henry Cavill, just please don't. Just please make it a good villain. Like, I feel like we could find a really good Superman villain. That could work. We've already done Lex technically, in Batman v Superman, but if we could find someone really good, like I mean, you could pull so many villains. You could even pull lanterns out of your ass if you wanted, but that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there right now. But Cavill is going to be coming back as Superman, I guess, for a couple movies. So the question I guess the other question I have after this is, does the DCEU still exist? Does it still exist? Because the Suicide Squad universe technically now, the Suicide Squad universe now exists. It exists 100%. The Suicide Squad movie in 2020, I want to say it was amazing. Loved it. Peacemaker, amazing. Loved it. And this movie builds off that, with Amanda Waller also being in it, also trying to stop enhanced individuals. So, are they gonna make the main villain of this phase, I guess, of the DCU be Amanda Waller? Because that would be, again, very interesting if she has a whole Suicide Squad to fight and all that. And I think that'll end up being very interesting. Also, the Flash movie is the problem here. That movie has been in production for 6 years now, I think. Maybe even more, and it has been finished. The problem is Ezra Miller happened. So yeah. They're gonna release the movie, I've heard, but it's the last movie that's in Miller. So my question is, will you get someone to play the Flash after this, or are you gonna replace the Flash with someone like Kid Flash or Jessica Quick or any of the other Flashes in the comics, or are you gonna continue with Barry Allen and maybe just go get Grant from the TV universe to play him, saying like a timeline thing or something? Just do that, or are you gonna get a different Flash to do it? Like I said, it'll be very interesting to see in the end how that turns out, because they are different. They are different things and different characters, but you can put them in with the Flash's time travel powers, and you can try to fix it as much as you could. Also, in that time travel thing, I feel like you could also pull the new Batman and the new Joker in, because since they're gonna end up fighting each other in the movie, you could pull them into the same universe, and you could make this entirely massive thing, and then you could make Snyder's Justice League canon, because that then pulls in Martian Manhunter and all that, and we could have a DCU right there. Like, if you do it right and you get these guys to do this properly, you could have a DCU right there. Like, if you pull Snyder and James Gunn together, they will do it. And that will be very interesting to see, because I wonder if they can do it. Like, Marvel's been losing traction with their MCU, even though Black Panther's gonna come out. She-Hulk was pretty good. I don't know. I haven't seen the end of it yet. And DC, you could pull something out of your ass here. You could really just grab the bull by the horns and try it. You've now made a Batman movie. I think you should make another Green Lantern movie. No joke. I just want to think that. I mean, if you could get Ryan Reynolds to do it, I think he'd want. I think he'd either want to or not want to, and if he doesn't want to, go find someone else. I mean, the Green Lantern's a Green Lantern. I think you could also make a bunch of other movies. You could do give Martian Manhunter his own movie. Give a lot of people their own movie. Like, give Amanda Waller her own movie, another Suicide Squad movie. Give them more Suicide Squad movies, and that's very important, because I feel like the Suicide Squad teaming up to get rid of Amanda Waller at the end of Suicide Squad, with the end of the original, within the new Suicide Squad, would be interesting. You can go a lot of different ways with this now. Darkseid, of course, being the main bad guy of all this DCU, but you don't have to acknowledge him. You can acknowledge him a bit in the Superman movie. If there's a new Superman movie coming out, acknowledge him in that, and then don't acknowledge him in anything else unless you do a Green Lantern movie. That's it. And also, the question of Beatles Gal does not want to continue being Wonder Woman. after Wonder Woman in 1984, which was a train wreck. But if you can get a different director, I think it'll be fine because from what I've seen, that movie basically his director was the director of that movie was just not the best director and not the right choice for that movie. And it's fine, you know. We all make we all make bad director choices, you know. So that our world happened. We all make those wrong decisions, and they changed it with Thor Ragnarok and Thor: Love and Thunder and all that. And I feel like it's a lot better for that. So I think this final thoughts on this movie. I thought it was very good. Not very. I thought it was good. I thought they really put a lot of effort into it and tried to. DC has a thing currently where they're trying to pull a lot of D-list like villains and heroes and put them in the spotlight, like Atom Smasher, Hawkman, Doctor Fate. Those are all people that people don't know about, and they're doing very good at that. And I think they should keep doing that. Instead of focusing on the big guys, focus on those small guys. Give them the stories, and that will differentiate you from Marvel, which has the big hitters, you know. And I feel like that'll really differentiate you and really do well with that. You can also still do Superman. You can still do Batman. You can still do Wonder Woman if Gal Gadot wants to do it. And the Flash can happen, I guess. You'll have to find a replacement for Ezra Miller. And Cyborg exists. I think you can do I feel like a Cyborg movie would be very good, like a Rogue AI or something against him. Or whatever Cyborg villains are in the comics. I don't actually know. I don't know a lot about Cyborg in general. Um, but you can really put this together. You can really do well on this. I feel like if you just push this through, not push it through, you have to think it through. You have to be do like what Marvel did and know what's happening. But I feel like you could really create a good DCU out of this, out of what you're doing now. Like forget what you were doing before with all that. Now it's time to remake the DCU and to maybe use the Flash movie, like I've been saying, to reset everything. Like make the Flash movie, then make the new Batman movie canon, and also you can make a different Flash in that movie. So you can make a different Flash in that movie. You can make the new Batman movie canon, and you can also in that way make Snyder's Justice League canon. So then everything is on a good playing field, and you're good to go. Since we brought Superman back into it, we're good to go. And then we can have Justice League if you want. We can have a League of Villains. We can do a new Batman movie as well, where he fights Deathstroke. Like we planned in the end of Justice League. You know, we planned a lot of things, and I feel like we should get through them. And also I think they're doing it. They're doing Aquaman too. So if that's good, also just even more fuel to the fire for me. Honestly, I mean, if we can just keep pushing this stuff along, I feel like we are perfect and we've got this going. Peacemaker season 2, can't wait for it. Harley Quinn, great show. They've been hitting their stride recently, DC, and I hope they continue to hit their stride and they keep pushing. Shazam 2 is also coming out soon, and I cannot wait for that since Shazam is my favorite movie in the DCU currently as it stands, barring Snyder's Justice League, because I don't count that at the moment. It might be my canon, but I don't count that at the moment. But yeah, I can't wait to see where they go. Plus, the Shazam and Black Adam movie together will be really fun, and yeah. Thank you guys for watching this review. Once again, I give this movie a 7 out of 10. I think it's really good. I think you should see it. I don't know if you'll have as much fun with it as I did because some of the lines and the characters are a little cliche, but I think some people will have fun with this movie and will really gravitate towards it, and that's why I think it'll really and that's why I think it'll really hit some people, but others it won't, and that's fine. I mean, that's how movies work. I think it'll really hit the nerds though. I think the DC nerds are really gonna like this one, unless it doesn't akin to the comics. In which case, they're gonna hate it. But yeah, I think and that's it. As for me, I'm Z-Man. I'm gonna come at you guys with a Black Panther 2 review as well. Sometime in the next few weeks once I see it, and then I'll talk about that movie. I'm also thinking about maybe coming at you guys with a She-Hulk review, but that's been out for a while, so I don't know if you guys need that or what, but I might come at you with a She-Hulk review, and yeah, I'm looking at a lot of movies and TV shows to review. I might end up reviewing Peacemaker because I really like Peacemaker, but just tell me what you guys want. I also can review regular movies like I watched Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. I was not Fallen Kingdom. Dominion. I only have stuff to say. I can say a lot of things about that movie if you want, but yeah, just tell me what you guys want. And like I said, I'm Z-Man, and I'll see you guys in the next video.